Alright, so we are finished with step 2, which was aeration, and we are moving on to step 3, which was how to grow grass from seed. So my yard is completely turf type tall fescue, and so I've got this GCI blend, which is what my yard is, and so I'm going to do a light overseed with that. And I debated on doing this, very hard decision actually, but I think I'm going to go ahead, and I've got 2 different types of Kentucky bluegrass. I'm going to do one type in the front, and I'm going to do one type in the side and back. And we're going to see how it does. And the only reason I'm doing that is just because I want to get something in here that will spread and help try and fill in some of the space whenever it thins out, because that happens often, especially in the summertime, especially if you get brown patch like I did. And so I haven't decided if I'm going to tell you guys what types I got until I see the results and see how they do. But maybe at the end of this video I'll let you know. So this step is actually super simple. Putting grass seed down is not complicated. If you have a spreader, if you've used it before, you know how to do it. I like to measure out the amount of seed I'm going to put on the area, put the spreader on a low setting, and just go until it's all spread out evenly. If you have to put a little more seed than you expected, that's fine. It's not going to be that big of a deal. If you can put too much seed down, it can choke itself out, but it's kind of hard to do that if you're very close to the recommended amount of seed per 1,000 square feet. Let's get to overseeding. Step is to throw down our fert, and so I don't want to overload the nitrogen because I don't want to push a bunch of top growth of my existing grass and it overcrowd the seed and the seed not be able to grow. So I'm going to use a ½ pound of nitrogen from Milorganite, which is about 10 pounds per 1,000 with the old formula, and I am going to use a standard 12-12-12 fertilizer. And the reason I'm doing that is because it's cheap. I already have it. I don't need anything fancy. The main thing that we want from a starter fertilizer is the phosphorus, which is the middle number. You want a high middle number. And so we are going to, again, I'm going to spoon feed the starter fertilizer. So I'm going to put down about a quarter of a pound of nitrogen from the 12-12-12, which I believe is 3 pounds per 1,000. And then I will come back in 2 weeks and I will put another application of the same amount on that. And that is going to help give our baby grass the nutrients it needs whenever it needs it. Alright, so the last step I'm going to do is use tenacity. And tenacity is used as a pre and a post-emergent. Mesotrione is the active ingredient. You can also get the Scott starter with weed preventer in it. Has the same active ingredient. I use that whenever I seeded my entire yard and it works really, really well. But this is going to be cheaper per application. I use that Scott's bag because I got it for $8 a bag because the Lowe's messed up. It's usually like $40 a bag. And so that worked out really well. ½ ounce per 1,000. Spray it on the lawn. This is going to help weeds from germinating, but it's going to help your good grass to grow and not damage your good grass. So ½ ounce per 1,000, get it watered in. That's the final step. Alright, so that is going to do it for fall rehab step 3. The only thing left to do with this fall rehab is to water. And so I'm going to water 3 times a day, about 5 to 10 minutes, just enough to keep the seed moist. And hopefully in about 2 weeks, you will be able to see a big difference. I will probably get my first mow in about 2 weeks, because that's typically the longest I can go to let the grass grow. And that's something I want to talk about. That's not a big deal. People freak out, say that you can't mow for a month or 2 months, and they go out and they buy these little reel mowers, and that's perfectly fine. If you already have one, use it, but you don't need to go out and spend money. I did a complete renovation on my lawn, and I walked on my lawn 3 times a day to move sprinklers in 15 different spots, and my grass turned out perfectly fine. So don't take it too seriously. It's not that big of a deal. So be sure and subscribe if you haven't, so you can see the results. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.